The next step is to add an event list to the data set. A data set already contains information about all of the individual events, but the event list structure consolidates this information, makes it easier for you to access and see, and allows ERPLAB to add additional information that's not present in the original EEGLAB list of events. So to do this, we go to the ERPLAB menu, go to Event List, and say Create EEG Event List. And it pops up this little window here, and ordinarily you'll just click Create. Now there's an advanced option that lets you do all kinds of stuff that's covered in the documentation, but we're not going to do that here. We're just going to create a simple event list. The one thing that we're going to do a little bit differently though is we're going to export this into a text file. So we'll call this EList, and it'll automatically add a .txt extension. And this will just create a copy in a text file that you can more easily look at. And actually you can then edit that and re-import it, so you actually have a very easy way to make changes or additions to the events that are associated with your data file. Okay, so we add EList there to the text file name, and we click Create. And I already have that EList file, so it's asking me if I want to replace it, and I say yes. Okay, so it goes through, and you can see in the command window various things are happening. And then it has created that event list, and it has attached it onto our existing data set. So it's asking what we want to do with the new data set that is created, and just say OK, and it will save it in memory. Now we're going to take a look at that event list file that we just created, elist.txt. So you can see it's over here, and we're going to double click on it. That opens it up in the Matlab text editor. And at the top you have just some header information that gives the name of the file and the sampling rate and stuff like that. Then you have the actual list of events down here. And the items preceded with a pound sign are comments, and the ones along here just give you labels for what the different columns are. So you have the item number, the first item in the file, the second, so these are all of your event codes, and the first one, second one, third one, etc. Then you have the bin epoch number, which is something that gets added in later. The actual event code, you can create a text label for that if you'd want. The onset time of the event in seconds, the difference between this event and the previous one in milliseconds, the duration of the event, which for most systems is just 0, and then there are a set of flags and an enable flag, and then a set of bins, and you'll see later on that that bin information will get added in. So that's what's in this file. The next step is to take every event that we want to average together and assign that event to a specific bin. And we're going to do a simple version of this using BINLISTER. So to use BINLISTER, go to ERPLAB and assign bins BINLISTER. And you're going to have to give it the name of a file that contains an abstract description of what kinds of event codes go into a particular bin. And there's a file already available for you. So if you browse, you should be able to see binlisterdemo1.txt, and we'll open that up. And it's going to read the event list from the current data set and write the resulting event list to the same data set. And so basically it's going to take the event list, figure out what bins each event goes to, and then update that information. And ordinarily you wouldn't have to do this, but we're going to save the output in a file named elist2. So we'll be able to see this new updated event list. And then all the other things can just be default parameters, so go ahead and click Run. And it goes through and it tells you it's going to take about 0.2 minutes. Sometimes it can take a while, and then it finishes, and now it's created a new data set with this updated event list, and you can see that it has put underscore bins as the suggested data set name. And keep in mind that ERPLAB will suggest names, but you don't have to use them. You can use whatever you want. However, if you use the suggested names, then you'll be very consistent from subject to subject, and that can be useful. Now we have our new elist2 file, and we can open that up, and it's just like our original event list, except now you see that there are bin numbers following the event codes. So this first event code here is a stimulus, and it's been assigned to bin 1 because it's a frequent stimulus. The next event code is actually a response, and since in this particular case we're doing stimulus locked averaging, that's not going to get assigned to any bins. And then the next one gets assigned to bin 2 because it's a target, and then another standard, etc. Our next step is to take the continuous EEG data and divide it up into a set of discrete epochs prior to averaging. So we go to ERPLAB and we do extract bin-based epochs. Now EEGLAB has an epoching routine as well, but don't use it. It's not quite the same as the ERPLAB one, and if you use the EEGLAB one, nothing else in ERPLAB will work. So we say extract bin-based epochs. We tell it what the time period is that we want to use. So we're going to epoch from minus 200 milliseconds before the stimulus, until 800 milliseconds after. And we're going to do baseline correction at this stage. So we're going to subtract the average pre-stimulus voltage from each epoch of data. So the default parameters should work for a lot of experiments. So we'll just click Run, and it goes through and it epochs the data. Okay, and it adds BE for bin epoch onto the name of the data set. And if we look in our data sets menu, now we have all of these different data sets. Our original one with the channel labels, our event list. Now we added the bins, and then we did the bin epoching.